So, as it says on the slide, my name is the Errol Shanefish, and I am the only Errol Shanefish in the world. So it's good news, really easy to find me. Bad news, it's really easy for you to find me. Errol.shanefish@microsoft.com. You can look me up on LinkedIn. I sort of stopped using Twitter, but my Twitter handle is @IfErrolCanDoIt. And the reason is because I get to work with engineering, so I'm in product marketing. I get to work with engineering on sort of setting the strategy and direction of Business Central. And a few years ago, when I was on stage, I said, could I demo something sometime, please? And they're like, oh, no, this is really technical, Errol. You can't, I don't know, I don't think you should demo. And then I thought, well, why would that be? Why can't I do it? If I could do it, I think our customers and partners could do it. And so that's kind of their bar. It's like if they can explain it and I understand it, then then they know that hopefully I am the lowest common denominator. Should that scare you in this session? So what we're going to do is actually the session should read Dynamics 365 overview and roadmap, because that's the order we're going to go in. I'm going to talk a sort of overview of what Business Central is, some things that we've added in this last release, and thank goodness I have an MVP who's going to come up and demonstrate some things during the session. But really to set context, James Phillips, the leader of our engineering group, I was in a session with him, and he sort of mentioned something to me that I thought was really insightful. He said, over the last sort of 20 whatever-ish years, and I started at what was Great Plains Software in 1987, so 32 years ago, in about 4 days, will be how long I've been in the industry. And when I think of that length of time, it's basically been forms over data plus reporting, like an ERP solution, basically been forms over data plus reporting. Sort of very backward looking, and we take care of all of these different areas of an entirety of a business, and as a result of that, you have this incredible set of data at your disposal. Now, what is just emerging really is this idea of what you can do with that data, the intelligence, the proactiveness versus reactiveness. A customer of ours, Kelly Roofing, told me, he said, prior to Business Central, I felt like I was running my business with only access to the rearview mirror. He's like, I couldn't look forward before Business Central. And so the idea that you can actually do something with the data, be intelligent, be proactive, is at the core of what Business Central is focusing on and will be in the future. And then obviously some of the ways that we can be proactive is to take advantage of the Power Platform that's at our disposal with Power BI for visualization intelligence, with something like Flow, where you can do notifications across an organization and bring in information from other areas, and then obviously Power Apps to make very specific line of business applications that sit on top of Business Central that are sort of non-developer types of things, so you can do it really quickly, really fast, and get value from it as quickly as possible. So, and then as it relates to kind of how we think about the types of things that we're doing with Business Central over the next years, we're going to go through this journey of looking at how Business Central is a modern solution. It's unified across all of Microsoft applications. It's an intelligent solution, again, that can surface and help you make decisions in a more proactive way. And at the same time, it's a very adaptable solution with the development tools that you can use and/or the Power Platform, as I mentioned earlier. And so we're going to go through these areas and sort of understand what they mean. And when we think of modern, one of the first things we think about is just the overall user interface. If you're going to spend, hopefully not 8 hours of your day inside of Business Central, it needs to be something that you enjoy being inside, to look at, the feel, to interact. It's intuitive, all of those types of things. And at the same time, I hate to put cloud on here because it's sort of a so what at this point, right? Of course it's in the cloud. But kind of the uniqueness maybe of Business Central is that you can still have this solution on-premise or hosted yourselves. And it's the exact same application, whether it's managed by Microsoft or whether you choose to have yourselves manage it or managed by someone else. All of that is available to you. One of the biggest things that Business Central really provides is this unified nature with all of the Microsoft applications. Surfacing it in Outlook, for instance, the capabilities out of the box, read-write capabilities with Excel, using Word as the way to produce forms in the solution. There's things that we're looking at to do with Microsoft Teams, which is such a productivity enhancement for all of your employees. And so you'll see us concentrate very, very heavily on this idea of Business Central embedded in with and through is what I call it. So it's not integrated, it's just simply part of the broader Microsoft solution. And then we've talked about intelligence and how actually bringing insight to your organization is a focus area for us. And then with adaptability, we provide lots of tools for our partners to assist you in the process, including how to get updates, and at the same time provide development tools for more integrated development scenarios or very specific development scenarios inside the application itself, and or, as we mentioned, using the Power Platform with Power Apps to potentially create line of business applications that are very, very specific to your organization and that can be quickly done in a non-sort of development environment. So as we drill down on these, to kind of show modern, I thought what I'd do is actually run a video that our engineering team put together from this last release. So I had a customer recently. I was in London area doing a presentation. I had a customer that said, Errol, I just love business. It's so huggable. Like I'm in there and it's so comforting. It's so huggable. I thought that was an interesting analogy. At the same time, we release new application features every 6 months. So we just had a release in April. We'll have another release in October, and kind of when I get to the roadmap section, I'll sort of talk about what that is. But over the last 12 months, we've added enhancements and just simply application enhancements, over 200 features in the solution, and we continue to add new features and functionality to the solution in every single release, again, every 6 months. So the second section we're going to talk about is unified, and with this one, again, I like to use, I hate the word integrated because it sort of means you have to set something up. Whereas Business Central is simply exposed in Outlook, and there's a myriad of different things that you can do in Outlook. And in fact, in a session this afternoon, I'll be going over sort of more in detail everything that you can do unified across Microsoft solutions. At the same time, you have capabilities of having the solution on any device. So, contrary to some other applications, you can basically do everything on the phone that you could do in sort of the full browser user interface. You can do, quotes, inventory, everything, jobs, manufacturing. You could run your manufacturing solution on your phone if you wanted to. Now, granted, the screen size doesn't always make much sense to do that, but you can do it because the entirety of the application is exposed, whether that's on a phone, tablet, and or laptop, desktop type device. And so all of this together means that this is a unified application kind of across the Microsoft entirety. And so to show that, I am more than pleased to have my friend, my buddy, my pal, Sean. Why don't you introduce yourself, because you could do a much better job than me.
So great. Thanks for having me, Errol.
Yep, thanks
Good
for
morning,
coming.
everyone. I'm Sean Dorward. It's a tough last name to say. Not as tough as Shane Fish. There is another Sean Dorward in the world, so I'm not as unique as Errol. The way I like to encourage folks to remember how to say my last name is move forward with Dorward. And that's what I'm all about. I like to learn new stuff. I'm the practice lead at Interdyne Artists, a Microsoft Gold certified partner servicing GP, NAV, and everything under the Dynamics umbrella. You can find my ramblings, all my tips and tricks at lifehacks365.com. You've heard of Office 365? Maybe familiar
I have heard of this application called Office 365,
You have?
yes.
How about Dynamics 365?
Yeah, I have heard of that.
So Lifehacks 365 is where I write tips and tricks about Business Central, GP, Excel, PowerPoint, you name it. So I'm really glad to be here to show you some cool stuff. Follow me on Twitter if you're a Twitterer. So I'll switch to my environment. This is my Business Central. I'm in a web browser here. I happen to be in Edge, but it's obviously functional in Chrome, Firefox, etc. And we were talking about unification for Business Central. So I'm going to show some couple ways that Microsoft has unified Business Central with the other products, particularly focusing on Office 365 here this morning. So I'm going to go into my financial module and go into my general journals. This is going to load up my batch listing, and I've got a monthly batch listing here that I'm going to make changes to maybe every month or so, but I have this, now I only got 5 or 6 lines in here, and I want to make some changes to this, so maybe 5 or 6 lines isn't so bad, but if it was larger, just use your Powerball imagination with me here, pretend it's really large. What we can do is we can come into each one of these lines and make the change. Notice I've got, I'm going to use my control and mouse wheel to make this a little bit more conform to my window. That's pretty cool, right? Just a simple adjustment to change the font size. Those folks on GP, I know what you're thinking. So what I can do here is I can move this to Excel with a function called Edit in Excel. And I'm going to click on Page and choose Edit in Excel. And it's going to take the contents of this batch, move it all over into Excel, use an Excel add-in that is already connected to my Office 365, authenticates via the same credentials that I use in Business Central, and make this available for me to edit, not just see in Excel, but for me to literally edit in Excel. So I've got my 5-6 lines here, and what I want to do is, let me just kind of minimize this a little bit so you can see. I've got a description here, building 1, but this is for multiple buildings, so I'm just going to use the really cool Excel features that I know and love. And I'm going to come over and change this amount to 30,000, and maybe this is 6,000, and just copy that down. Now all I have to do is hit publish. Watch how fast that is. That's no smoke and mirrors. That's done. It's published. I'll come over into Business Central and refresh or just reopen this batch. And now the changes that I made in Excel, they're available here for me in Business Central. Did I not hit publish? Ta-da! Don't you love when it works? Let me just try hitting publish one more time. Okay, so we're just going to have to pretend that that worked. That stinks. And it worked like moments ago. But what's even cooler about this is I can add, there we go. Yay.
Just took a second.
The lights were hot to begin with. So now the changes are here in Business Central for me, just that easy. Notice on the right-hand side here, I've got dimensions assigned to one line, but not the others. And all I really have to do is just come and put those in here in Excel, making it easy for me. And this could be just one line, multiple lines, you name it. And now we're rocking and rolling, and that fast the changes are here. So that's just one of the ways that Microsoft has unified Business Central. Let me show you another way here, and this is pretty cool. It's easy to do and easy to set up. And I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to search for assisted setup.
While you're doing that, Sean, do you know how many edit in Excel areas there are in Business Central?
I believe there are 40-ish.
Yes.
Is that close?
I actually knew that answer. I was hoping you didn't know that
I mean,
answer.
I have no idea.
It's 40-ish.
40-ish.
Basically every single list page in the area.
Yeah. That was just a simple example, but you certainly can use it for really, really large data sets as well. So I went into assisted setup, and you can see there's already out-of-the-box assisted walkthroughs like wizards. And I'm just going to activate an Outlook integration. Sorry, I know you said not to use that word. I'm going to unify Business Central with my Outlook. And all I'm really doing is I'm saying, hey, this is my credential. I also happen to use that cool thing, Outlook, and let's connect them. So it's going to work on this. It's going to say that's it, and it's going to send me a sample email to know that everything is in good order. It literally is that easy. And now what I can do...
Hashtag if Errol can do it.
Hashtag if Errol can do it. We'll come over here in Outlook, and there's my email saying, hey, you're all set up, Sean. I can also experience the same thing on the web version of Outlook. Pretty cool. Well, what does setup mean? How does that unify? So let's do something here. I'm going to go ahead and just create an email. I'm going to pretend that I'm a customer, and I'm going to email my vendor. Can I get a quote? Thanks, Sean, for showing me that stuff last week. Can you send me a quote? Can't type that fast. I need lamps, 6 of them, desks, 8 of them, and swivel chairs, 8 of those as well. Oh, by the way, you're doing great. I know, Y-O-U''R. I get it. So I'm going to send this off to my customer, and then we're just going to use the opposite imagination, and we're going to pretend that we're back at our desk, and this as a sales rep, and we're managing our Outlook like we normally do. We live and breathe in here most times, and we're going to get an email from our customer. Fingers crossed. It's only an email. Here we go. So I get this email from my customer. I'm going to open up Contact Insights from Business Central. This is right in my Outlook. It is surfacing Business Central into my Outlook so that I don't have to be distracted from switching applications, which is pretty cool. Immediately, it recognizes that this email is from a customer of mine, and it gives me the customer dashboard. I'm not over in my web browser anymore. I'm here in Outlook. I can pop this out if I want to have a dedicated window. I can change the side just like you can. All things cool and impressive in Outlook. I can interact with these as well. So as I hover over my aged AR, I can make decisions, see the actual data right in Outlook. I'm going to keep saying that because that is super cool. But what I want to do, I want to respond to this email. The customer's asking me for a quote, so I'm just going to go. I have no open quotes. I can tell that right there. Incidentally, this is a real-time unification. There is no delay. There's no overnight sync. I'm going to go to a new sales quote right in Outlook. This took the contents of my customer's email. We can high five. That's pretty cool. It took the contents of my customer's email, recognized some of them, and said, hey, these are suggested items to add to this quote. Take note that The one, I have lamp 6, it pulled up my quantities as well. Naturally, you can change these. And if it does find some conflicts, you can say, hey, I want this to be the London chair, because that's the one I showed them. As soon as I hit OK, this actually creates a quote, gives it a quote number, QUO1023, where I can modify this, which is not that hard at all. And I'm just going to come over here to customers, and I'm going to open up that Alpine customer that's associated with that email address, and take a look at the transactions associated with this customer. Oops, I clicked too fast. Oh, thank you, School of Fine Art. Hey, audience participation.
Hey, they're actually watching the demo.
That is good. So now what I can do, also right from within Outlook, is I don't have to just create it in my system, right? That's cool in its own right, but I can go ahead and send that off to my customer, and I'm just going to do send by email. It's going to take the information, save the transaction in Business Central, PDF that into a quote, and prepare to send it over to my customer. I don't know how much easier it can get. We should be able to double our sales in no time, Errol.
Hashtag if Errol can do it.
Hashtag if Errol can do it. Pretty cool, right? All right, so that's my demo for Unified.
You want to switch me back?
Absolutely.
Thanks. Thanks, Sean. So hopefully what you saw there again, and kudos to Sean, because that's the first time he's heard me do this presentation, and he picked up on not integrated but unified. A unified solution. There are a myriad of different areas where you can do those types of things inside of Outlook. You can do them with vendors, with specific documents. You can look up specific documents because somebody sent you an email and it shows up in Outlook. And so what we're trying to do is really be at where the customer spends your time, and to make sure that you don't have to redo things. If you can think of like the situation that you might have to do if you get an email from someone, go somewhere else, authenticate, log in, look up the customer, and pretty soon you're sort of 7, 8, 9 steps down the way, and you could have already solved a problem as a result. So intelligence. Now, intelligence is a really interesting topic. I'm going to take just a quick step back to again, talk about what has happened with Business Central. So last April was when we launched Business Central as a cloud-based from Microsoft, managed by Microsoft solution. And at the time, Business Central was only available in the cloud. And then as of this past October, you can purchase Business Central and have it, again, either in the cloud managed by Microsoft, or you can have it on-premise or have it hosted on Azure, so that if you still have those IT people in your organizations that start to get night sweats when they don't have SQL DB access, you can do that. And it's the exact same application. Everything that we're showing here is available to you with an on-premise solution also. But really having that in the cloud on Azure solution is what is driving this idea of intelligence, and having that data available to be accessed by all the other services. So for those of you who raised your hand when I asked, are you currently a Dynamics NAV, GP, or SL customer? Little known fact, what you can do right now is actually synchronize not all of your data, but large portions of your data to a Business Central cloud tenant, so that you can sort of see, feel, touch, and what that might look like if you were to fully transition to Business Central cloud. You can do that right now. If you weren't aware of that, contact your partner and say these words. Please tell me about the Business Central midterm SKU. Okay, for those who raised your hands, let's recite that. Please tell me about the midterm Business Central SKU. Thank you. The one person over here that was repeating as I was saying that. And again, what you're doing is your on-premise GP NAV SL solution is the gospel. That stays. You're still doing everything there. But what you can do is synchronize the data to a Business Central cloud tenant so that you can see it there, experience it there. You could run Power BI charts off of it. You could create a quick Power App to look up certain things. You could do notifications off of the data with Flow. All of those things that are available as a result of being in the cloud will be available to you to take a look and see and feel and touch that data. It's really a great way for you, again, if you're just sort of thinking about, do I want to go to Business Central? This is a great way to do that. At the same time, it's all of those things that are available on the Azure platform that really provide intelligence. And so I have a couple of examples. The one I don't have a slide for, but we have a customer in Germany, and what they're doing because of Azure Cognitive Services is they have a drone that flies around their warehouse at night, and it has a camera on it, obviously, and it actually recognizes where inventory items are according to both barcodes that it reads and the physical makeup of that inventory item. It recognizes the inventory items. And the reason they're doing this is because they constantly move items around in their warehouse, and it was overwhelming to them to track that information, A, and then B, they didn't track it, and so people were running around the warehouse trying to find stuff, and they didn't know where it was. So every night, they run a drone around the warehouse, and then it updates Business Central with the location of where those items are. Okay? Now this is that visionary stuff that we're talking about, and I know you saw some stuff earlier today, that really drives change, that really is intelligence, that really helps you drive your business forward. At the same time, we have a customer who is a yogurt manufacturer. And what they're doing is they have an IoT device on the pumps and valves where they receive their milk every single day. And so basically what happens is a driver comes up, they have a tankard of milk, they punch in a code, they hook it up, and it just simply understands the amount of gallons that are being pumped into their solution. And so no person from that customer touches that data. It all ends up in Business Central, goes in the manufacturing process, et cetera, as opposed to what they had to do before, which is have people physically there to receive and to do all of that process. And so there are just thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts around what you can do, basically anything you can think of. And this is the part where forms over data plus reporting isn't enough, right? This is the additional stuff. This is the thing that really helps you drive your business. And so we're going to see a few just little snippets of intelligence that Business Central does really out of the box. And the world is your oyster, as I would say, certainly with Azure services and the ability of Power BI, certainly. So Sean, why don't you show us? I know intelligence is hard for you and I, but let's see if we can.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Thankfully, there's services that can help us along the way.
Yeah.
So this is, again, back to our home screen in Business Central. And I'm just going to scroll down. If you've never seen this before, all these items are customizable, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I get down here a little bit further, and I've got some insights. And I see my trial balance right here, but right here is a section for Power BI reports. And this is really important because it surfaces the Power BI reports and visualizations right into Business Central, so you don't have to, although you can, certainly jump into Power BI to see and interact with these reports. Now this is right on my home screen. What I can do is I can just click this drop down, and I'm going to go to Select Reports. Because all these reports, some of them are built from a service out of the box. But there's a collection of them that either are out of the box made available or I've customized them myself, created them ground up. And incidentally, it doesn't have to be just Business Central data. It can be business intelligence based on any data accessible from within the Power BI platform. These reports, when enabled, then become available in your home screen there. And this, because of the unification that exists here, it automatically knows this is the account that Sean is logged in as. These are the reports available on his Power BI dashboard. So I can just mark those as enabled. And now when they're enabled, those reports are available in this content box here. And what I can do from here is just click, have my favorite right on my home screen, or I can just click and go to the next report and see the information. This helps me be more intelligent. Again, this is a pulling of data, not a pushing. So I don't have to wait for information to be given to me. I can go get it when I want it. I can also do a bit more here. I can actually come in and use the Manage button, and this will open up a experience that looks directly at Power BI and allows me to make changes right within Business Central. Again, you could jump over to Power BI, but if anybody in here is an analyst or works in reporting, this is very powerful, especially when you're trying to deploy intelligent information to your end users. So they could do this right from here. So let me go back and show one more thing about that, because I really, really enjoy this. It's not just a snapshot or the report. It is truly the real. We can even here, and we can even interact. So if I wanted to switch my customer, obviously maybe not the exact best example here. There we go. I'll just grab that customer, and my report dynamically adjusts based on that interaction. That's pretty cool, right on my home screen. Let's take a jump over to my inventory, and I'll go to my inventory items. The Power BI reports are also surfaced in other areas. In this case, we're going to look at the inventory area. On the right-hand side, this area here, we call them fact boxes. This is a Power BI report specific for my inventory buy and sell. And if I switch to a list view rather than the image view, it makes it a little bit easier. But as I toggle from one inventory item to the other, you see my Power BI report is interactive with me. There we go, pretty cool. Allowing me to see real-time information right at my fingertips about this particular item. So that's a little bit about Power BI and surfacing back into Business Central. Let me show you this other cool thing that I don't want to geek out too much. I've got some friends in the audience, and I know they will not let me live this down if I do, but this is pretty cool. So welcome to the future when it comes to Cortana intelligence, because if you're familiar with that type of machine learning and artificial intelligence, you now have that embedded in Business Central. I'm just going to scroll down here to the bottom of my fact box here. And let me go to a more meaningful item here. That one has 100 in it. Here on this bottom right here area is this forecast. Now you may be thinking this is just history, open orders, this is just things in transit, purchase orders that are approved, et cetera, but it's a bit more than that. It actually is something coming from Cortana services, and it's, I'm sure, using some sort of fancy algorithm, and it does all this work. It does take those things into account to come up with those, but then it says, hey, if you do nothing, if you take no action on this inventory item, this is what we're predicting will happen. So for this particular item, it's predicting out that in 2 months, I think that was supposed to be, my hover is not working there. Let me jump around. There we go. Nope, that's okay. But this is predicting that in there we go. My inventory will be negative 28. So I have to do something about it. Doing something about it or knowing it is only half the battle. We need to do something about it. And that's another thing I really like about this. So we can very quickly, just from this forecast, take action. So I'm going to open up a purchase order. Now I've told the system that I want to leverage Cortana intelligence embedded in my forecast model, and I told it that I want to measure my inventory predictions as of 3 months. I want to measure it in 12 units, 12 months, and I want to replenish this inventory out 3 months. So out 3 months, my depth was 43, so it's going to replenish it. That's what I told it. But, and I hear you asking, what if that's not going to work for me? So you have the ability to customize this. We can say we want to measure our stats by month, by week, quarter, etc. But I want to maybe just change this from 3 months to 2 months. And I'll update my forecast. It only takes a moment. So now when I go ahead, instead of it ordering a 43 point, it should, if I did my job correctly, intelligently order at the 28 point. And there we go. That's pretty cool. One more thing before I turn it back over to Errol, because this is the geek out part, and I need to stop. But what you can do in this forecast settings is if you're not totally on board with what this is doing for you as far as the measurements that it takes, you can go into Cortana Intelligence Gallery. You can go in and customize this. So not going to go into any detail here, but just click and open the Machine Learning Studio. Way over my head. Way over my head. But I know there's plenty of smart people in here.
Not hashtag if Errol can do it.
This is not hashtag if John can do it either. But you could certainly customize this to meet your organization. And this is out of the box. This one comes with Business Central, but here's the kicker. Using Cortana Intelligence, you can build your own to automate many parts of your organization and help you be more intelligent as you go through.
Right, so this is getting a little bit to adaptability, but this is what we call an extension on top of Business Central. And this extension is this machine learning piece. So you or your partner could create all kinds of different machine learning types of pieces that would be in Business Central that would interact just like we saw with Sean. Now, Sean, I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to do one additional little demo. So do that create purchase order thing again.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's you know where I'm going, right?
I think so,
okay.
But yeah.
It's my favorite feature.
So what we're pointing out here is that we're using this forecast based on the intelligence. It comes out and suggests what we should order for the PO.
But
in addition,
also says,
it also tells us at the top in our notification bar here, hey, this vendor, you buy other things from this vendor that you need. And a single click, all we have to do is click add this to the document, and those items get dropped into this purchase order. I just saved a ton of time. Taking a little bit longer lunch and nobody will know.
Exactly. Awesome. So what we saw there was, first of all, Power BI, and really, I mean, the Power BI itself, there are obviously hundreds of sessions at this event alone that can really help you understand the capabilities of Power BI, and there are more insight-y type, if that's a word, insight-y types of things in Power BI that you could surface on the data that's in Business Central that would actually do predictive analysis types of things. And at the same time, what we saw here is just one small thing, which is Azure Machine Learning on top of your data that, again, can help you be more intelligent. Instead of looking in the rearview mirror, you're actually looking forward at your business data. And these are all things that are really critical with that. So I'm sorry.
That was it?
That was it. Okay, good.
For
no practice, we're doing okay. So the final category that we were going to talk about is adaptable. Now this is a really interesting one, and there are sort of multiple ways to have Business Central be adapted to what you specifically need. One of those is obviously using the Power Suite of applications, and kind of specifically Power Apps and Flow to create specific line of business applications with also notifications and processes that Flow has the capability to do to really create something that's easily built but still really incredibly powerful. An example of that is we have a customer. Actually, I'm going to do my example first. I must have taken that out. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about my example then. Well, a couple of things. They're a customer of ours, Florida. really specific situation. An installer is on site and somebody accidentally runs over a mailbox on site, and then the customer shows up the next day and they say, hey, I just went down to the hardware store and here's this receipt. Could you just give me a credit on my account? So imagine what would happen. Here's an installer on site with this piece of paper. What do you think happens with that piece of paper? It gets lost. It gets thrown in the back of the pickup, and they find it 3 days later, and then they're in early in the morning, and they set it on Jim, the accounting's person's desk, and then Jim shows up. Jim has no idea what this receipt is for. It's like, it's for a mailbox. What do I do with that? And then, multiple phone calls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what Kelly Roofing did is they created a little power app. So on site with their phone, take a picture of the receipt, take a picture of what happened on the job, enter in the dollar amount, click request credit, and then it starts a workflow process that gets approved by somebody because they can see the information there, and then it ends up as a credit request inside of Business Central. And all this, like hashtag if Errol can do it, after a short conversation with Ken Kelly from Kelly Roofing, I built like 50% of the Power App, and I was about 80% of the way on the flow, and then I needed to have some help. Hashtag if Errol can do it, marketing guy. And that's how impactful something like this can be. So to show this and some other adaptable things, Sean?
Sean. Oh yeah, I probably should have been paying attention there. So I want to show a couple adaptive features in the product from an end user perspective, and then we'll talk more about outside of that as well. But it's really important to know that your environment slip of tongue, in Business Central is personalizable to you and the individual. So that's very adaptable. And we can take, and if this is my home screen, I can make this more my flavor, maybe more geared toward what I need to do to be more productive throughout the day. So I'm just going to come up here to personalize. And on this home screen, there's some examples here. All of these areas are boxed, so to speak. And so if you're not a fan of the headlines, full disclosure there, I'm not a fan of the headlines, but you may be. That's okay. We don't have to agree. I could just simply hide that, and it gets rid of it. It gives me a lot more space on my screen, and I absolutely love that. If some of these KPIs just aren't for you, maybe you don't need the approvals in here, you can go ahead and hide that. You can move them around. And we'll just drag, actually that's the click too fast. You can move things around, so let me scroll down here, and maybe I want this one over here. And sure enough, if I need to reset it, I can reset it by hitting clear personalization. That's just a little bit on my home screen. I want to go into my financial batch. And right here in my financial batch, you see I've got my name, description, etc. But if I wanted to see another field without having to open the batch settings, I can come to personalize, and I'm going to go ahead and select field. And now this is going to give me on the right-hand side on that blade a list of all of the fields available for me to add on this particular window. This is true for every list window in Business Central. I want you to just remember for just a quick second with me, I'm on a web browser. I am not on an installed on-premises application. I am customizing my web browser software, which is just pretty crazy. I'm going to go ahead and take suggested balance amount, drag that over, and drop that right there. So now every time I come in here, that field's going to be there. Likewise, the other way, all we have to do is drop down this and say hide. That gets rid of those fields that we don't want or don't need for our role. Another cool thing about that is if we come into the purchase orders, let me come into purchase orders. And all I'm doing is looking at a list here of my open purchase orders. But you see here I've got my vendor number. And if I scroll over to see more information, it kind of pushes the data along, sort of like in Excel, right? And I can change that. I can get rid of some of these fields that maybe don't apply to me. But if I wanted to change that as I scroll over, what it does do is it hides the vendor information. And to me, for me, that's important that I see the vendor. So what I can do is I can change this and I can personalize this again. And I'm going to reset the freeze. So I'm just going to do the drop down here and say set freeze pane. Now when I scroll over, that information stays there for me, making me more productive. Pretty cool? Well, let's see, one other thing. Let's create a new purchase order. And as I'm creating a new purchase order, and I move through here, it takes me to each time the next field. Document date, vendor invoice number, shipment number, right? So as I move through there, maybe this isn't the best example, but I wanted to just give you an idea. I can change that. On a web browser, I can change that for me. And what I need to do is just go back in the personalize. And I'm going to click on this and say exclude from quick entry. And I'm going to do that for this field and this field because I don't need shipment. Now, when I move through, I have to say done. That's why it wasn't letting me. Now when I move through, it's going to take me to the next important field that I set up for me. This can be done on every window for every user. Pretty cool. Some other things we can do, if I just take a look at a particular vendor, let me go into vendors. And again, this is true for my web browser. If I'm going to use this on my phone, Errol, or my tablet, platform agnostic, it can be the I stuff, it can be the G stuff. Look at my vendor. All the information about my vendor, and I'm sure you're familiar with this window regardless of your ERP, you have all this information sort of stacked up. But we could do show more or show less to kind of bring these things, kind of save space on our screen. So if I choose show less, I can actually come over here and click to minimize that altogether. And you notice I saved all that space and it gave me some really valuable information right here. So maybe I only care about 3 of those things of the 20 that are there. I can have them show right up for me. And of course, Errol, if we needed to, we could expand and use the services for Power Apps to customize anything we need to for things like maybe creating sales documents on the fly or something like that. So that's just a little bit about adaptability.
All right. I know now why you use Lifehacks as you are Mr. Lifehack.
Oh, thanks. Cool time savers.
All right. Excellent. So, if you want to...
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean, so much. How about a hand for Sean? As I said, I know why you do Lifehacks. And Sean has 2 power sessions, those 20-minute sessions at the expo area. He's got 2 Lifehacks sessions on Business Central. One today? Both tomorrow. Okay, both tomorrow. So hopefully you saw with Business Central, again, is this idea. It's a modern, unified, intelligent, adaptable solution. That's where we will continue to concentrate on this type of thing in the future. But as we look out, if you kind of take a step back and sort of look where we've come. So we just released in April the latest update to Business Central. As I mentioned, we are committed to a functional update every 6 months, and that comes out automatically. You can schedule yourselves sort of the certain day that you want to have that happen to you within a month. But we're coming out with those updates every 6 months on our cloud delivery of Business Central. And so as we look out into the October timeframe, what I can tell you today is some sort of focus areas for us. And the first one is just simply around what we call service fundamentals. So I can't tell you numbers, but what I can say is we have way more customers on Business Central in this first year than we thought we were going to, which is great news. And so we're going to, I don't want to say take a step back, but we're making sure that this is the most hearty application service that it can be for all of our customers. And that's something that we will, continue to do, sort of that along with proficiency improvements on the solution. So for instance, for those of you who are on Dynamics NAV of the solution and you're used to keyboard shortcuts and things like that, we have almost all of those things in the web browser version of Business Central now. So all of those proficiency improvements that were really, really useful on an on-premise solution that were sort of harder to do on a browser solution, we're improving those and making sure that that's something that we continue to do in the solution. In this version of Business Central, for those of you who are going to be on-premise, it's what we call modern client only, is what we'll be delivering. And so that will be the only way to access it. There's no older Windows client version of Business Central any longer as of October. And at the same time, the way that you customize Business Central in a truly sort of customized way, you'll only be able to do that with what we call AL and using Visual Studio Code. And I know this is the limit, Sean, this is the limit of my geekiness, is me saying Visual Studio Code. Like, that is seriously the limit of my geekiness. But just suffice it to say that we will be only have a modern client, only using modern tools to customize Business Central as of the October release. And then a focus area for us, sort of post-October, is making sure that what we have with Business Central is truly being able to use your data for intelligent purposes. And so again, this idea of no longer forms over data plus reporting, that doesn't cut it any longer. It needs to be an intelligent solution so that you can save time, money, effort, et cetera. And so all of the insight-ish types of things that we're building across all of the Dynamics 365 applications are things that Business Central will also assume in that process. And as a result, you'll see more and more of Business Central in what we call the common data service, so that you can more easily get at that and do intelligent things and be on the Power Platform with Business Central. So we have definitely shown a lot. I have a couple of things that I would suggest that you do. The first one is that we deliver our release notes for every new version of Business Central about 3-ish months before it's actually released. So you as customers, partners, et cetera, can see exactly what we're going to put in the October release. That will happen in about the July, sort of mid-July timeframe. So you can go to aka.ms Business Apps Release Notes and see that for all of our Dynamics 365 family, plus Power Platform, plus the artificial intelligence stuff that's underneath the broader business applications group. All of the release notes are there about 3 months prior to those releases. And in fact, all of our products now in this business application area, we do an April release, we do an October release, we do an April release, an October release. And so you can see that for all of the applications. So the April release notes are there right now, obviously. You can go see what was delivered in that. And what will be coming will be in that area. Another really good suggestion that I have for especially customers is if you want something in the product, go to this BC Ideas site and see what other customers are asking for, vote on those, and then put your own new ideas in there. This does not go into a vacuum. It literally I know the person that is looking at these And I've been in the review cycles of understanding what these ideas are and having them show up in the product. I've actually seen it done. So this is not, I really want to tell you, this does not go in a vacuum. So please go out and do that to make sure that if you have some great ideas, please give us those great ideas. We'd love to see those. If you're currently not a Business Central customer and you're interested to play with it, you can do so with a trial version. And in fact, even though it kind of says 30 days, it's really not a 30-day trial. It's an infinity trial. So Sean, how long have you had that trial? Sean was demoing in the trial company, and you've had it for 8 months. So he's been running that same trial for 8 months. So, if you're interested in taking a look at it, again, please do that. And/or you're supposed to ask your partner for the midterm SKU, SKU, yeah, the midterm. Tell me about midterm transition, Mr. Partner. That's another way to get in that case, really a full running, viewable version of Business Central. And we have awesome online documentation. If you are wondering, does Business Central do blah in jobs? The online documentation is phenomenal, so please go take a look at that also. I constantly have that up when I'm talking to customers, et cetera. Evaluate the session, and they didn't put in that other slide. I'm going to make a plug for, there are 3, if you're an engineer, there are 3 sessions tomorrow on Business Central, and it tells you exactly how to modify Business Central in 3 really easy, not if Errol can do it sessions. So for those of you more technical people, please look for those 3 sessions. They're really, really good for understanding how to make Business Central an adaptable solution. So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for attending our session, and have a great rest of